Accused war declared on Manchester City in the Premier League's biggest ever scandal as champions are charged with over 100 rule breaches and could be stripped of titles or even relegated, with rivals seeking a swift verdict. The Premier League waged war on champions Manchester City on Monday, charging them with more than 100 breaches of financial rules. In a bombshell statement alleging the biggest scandal in the competition's history which could see City stripped of their titles or even relegated, officials announced the club would be hauled before an independent commission. On a fast-moving day, City hit back hard, declaring they had irrefutable evidence that they had done nothing wrong and that they looked forward to the matter being put to rest once and for all in APOS. Urgent staff meetings were held at the Etihad Stadium in the afternoon. The word from inside City is that they feel their whole being is on the line and they will throw everything at clearing their name. There is also confidence they will prevail, which was relayed to staff on Monday. Manchester City could face Premier League expulsion or points deduction as they are charged with breaking financial rules over 100 times on sponsorship deals, secret contracts and payments. Man City charges explained what are the rules they've allegedly broken. Can they be expelled from the Premier League? What role did shadow contracts play? And how were web hackers involved? Manchester City's Premier League charges must lead to relegation if proven, says a former financial advisor to the champions, and they will have no financial advantage on lawyers. Manchester City charged over Premier League financial rules live all the latest on potential points deduction. The exact rules they're said to have breached, plus reaction. Pep Guardiola is odds-on to leave Man City before the start of next season as the club are charged with breaking financial rules over 100 times, after last year claiming he would have quit if he'd been lied to over FFP allegations. This can't be right. Jamie Carragher sarcastically reacts to Manchester City being charged with breaking financial rules as pundit Riley notes how they bring in more commercial revenue than Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, United and Liverpool. He didn't think they had the balls to do this. Simon Jordan urges the Premier League to dish out the ultimate consequence to Man City, as the champions are charged with breaking financial rules, and hints they should be expelled from the top flight. The Aguero moment might end up meaning nothing. Man United and Liverpool supporters claim their clubs should be awarded additional league titles after Man City were charged with breaching financial rules. Pep Guardiola is odds-on to leave Man City before the start of next season as the club are charged with breaking financial rules over 100 times, after last year claiming he would have quit if he'd been lied to over FFP allegations. The majority of a staggering array of alleged rule breaches are said to have taken place between 2009 and 2018. A glittering era following City's Abu Dhabi takeover which saw them break into the elite and lift the title 3 times, along with 3 League Cups and an FA Cup. There are further allegations that they refused to cooperate with the Premier League's investigation after it was launched in 2018. The charges from the Premier League include failing to provide accurate financial information over sponsorship revenue and not disclosing a manager's true salary. They come after a 4-year investigation, which began in 2018. The Premier League Judicial Panel will now be tasked with appointing the members of the Commission to look into City's alleged rules breaches. The Judicial Panel consists of sitting or retired judges, barristers and football administrators who adjudicate on disciplinary cases referred to it by the Premier League. Murray Rosen QC will chair the panel and will also be responsible for selecting the other members. A quick resolution is unlikely. Points deductions and even expulsion from the league are among the sanctions available if the charges are proven. An independent commission, made up of a panel of 3, will rule on the charges in a private hearing. They have the power to strip titles, deduct points, issue fines and even kick City out of the Premier League. City will not be able to appeal against any decision the Court of Arbitration for Sport, who overturned a 2-year Champions League ban the club was given by UEFA in 2020. The Premier League say City broke rules which require them to provide accurate financial information that gives a true and fair view of the club's financial position in APOS. The 115 breaches also include an allegation that City failed to provide full details of former manager Roberto Mancini's pay, or provide full details of player wages from 2010-11 to 2015-16. In a terse statement, City said they were surprised by the charges, particularly given the extensive engagement and vast amount of detailed materials that the EPL, Premier League, has been provided with in APOS. They added the club welcomes the review of this matter by an independent commission, to impartially consider the comprehensive body of irrefutable evidence that exists in support of its position. As such, we look forward to this matter being put to rest once and for all. City are also angered by the timing of the charges. They had no prior warning and were only notified when a courier delivered legal papers to the Etihad Stadium yesterday morning. That coincided with a call from the Premier League and a statement being released on the competition's website. No time frame has been set, but other clubs want a verdict before the end of the season. However, one source said it was likely to be years away in APOS. The investigation was carried out by the Premier League's legal team Bird. The panel for the independent commission will be appointed by Murray Rosen KC, who is the chairman of the Judicial Panel. May 16, 2014 Manchester City are found guilty of breaching UEFA rules around financial fair play, FFP. They are fined EU 60M, later reduced to EU 20M, and given short-term caps on squad size and spending. November 5, 2018 Football Leaks documents, published by German magazine Der Spiegel, allege that City have committed further FFP rules violations. November 23, 2018 UEFA begin to examine the allegations in Der Spiegel. December 2018 the Premier League write to the club requesting certain information and documents in relation to potential breaches of their rules known as the information claim. City object to the request. March 7/8, 2019 UEFA and then the Premier League announce formal investigations into City's alleged FFP breaches. August 21, 2019 PL issue a complaint against City, seeking disclosure of the documents and information. The club challenges the PL's disciplinary system, claiming the commission set up is not sufficiently independent or impartial. October 22, 2019 with the documents and information not forthcoming, the PL begin arbitration against the club seeking a declaration that they are contractually obliged to provide them. The club try to stop the arbitration by arguing to the tribunal involved that the PL had no power to start it. They also claim that the tribunal does not appear impartial. February 14, 2020 UEFA bans City from the Champions League for 2 seasons and fine them EU 30M for FFP violations. June 2, 2020 the tribunal rejects the challenge to its jurisdiction and impartiality. June 26, 2020 City issue an application in the commercial court repeating their argument that the tribunal lacks jurisdiction on the information claim and is tainted with apparent bias. July 13, 2020 the Champions League ban is overturned on appeal to the Court of Arbitration for Sport. The UEFA fine is reduced to EU 10M for non-cooperation with the ruling body's investigation. November 2, 2020 Meanwhile, the arbitration continues and the club's argument for not having to pass on the requested information and documents are rejected. The order to provide them is postponed pending the outcome of the commercial court case. March 17, 2021 in the commercial court, Mrs. Justice Mulder dismisses the club's challenge to the jurisdiction and impartiality of the tribunal. She refuses permission to appeal her judgment. March 24, 2021 the judge says her judgment should be published, which would reveal the lengths to which City have attempted to resist passing on information to the PL. City successfully seek permission to appeal that decision in the Court of Appeal. May 12, 2021 The Mail on Sunday writes to City and the Premier League asking to be shown details of the Mrs. Justice Mulder's judgment, including both sides' arguments, in the interests of open justice and to determine whether the newspaper should intervene on the club's appeal. The newspaper is prepared to guarantee nothing is published, but the requests are refused. June 30, 2021 The Court of Appeal opens its hearing into the club's appeal against publication. The Mail on Sunday sends a barrister to court and is given last-minute permission to attend. July 20, 2021 The Court of Appeal hands down its decision dismissing the appeal. This is huge. Manchester City stand accused of breaking the Premier League's rules more than 100 times since their Abu Dhabi takeover. A guilty verdict could see the champions relegated. It is as stark as that. This is the biggest scandal in the history of the competition. City will fight the claims with everything they have, but defeat could bring the club to its knees. In December 2018 the Premier League launched an investigation into allegations that Manchester City had failed to comply with football's financial regulations. It followed claims published by the German magazine Der Spiegel of various misdemeanors by the club. One of the central allegations was that City owner Sheikh Mansour had disguised personal funding in the shape of inflated sponsorship deals, allowing him to swerve the rules and pump money into the club that would allow it to sign big names. UEFA also launched their own investigation. That concluded in 2020 with a 2-year Champions League ban and fine, which City successfully overturned at the Court of Arbitration for Sport. The top flight's probe continued, however, although updates have been few and far between before yesterday morning. There are more than 100 alleged breaches over 9 seasons, split into 4 sections. The first relates to City providing accurate financial information that gives a true and fair view of the club's financial position, in particular with respect to its revenue, including sponsorship revenue, its related parties and its operating costs and OPOS. The claim is that City failed to do this. The second, which covers between 2009-10 and 2012-13, is on the requirement for clubs to include full details of manager remuneration in its relevant contracts with its manager and OPOS. City's manager at the time was Roberto Mancini. According to whistleblowers Football Leaks, who passed on their information to Der Spiegel, Mancini had a base salary of PS1. 45 meters net with City, but also had a shadow contract worth PS1. 75 meters a year with Abu Dhabi club Al Jazeera. The third set deals with alleged breaches of Premier League rules which require clubs to comply with UEFA's FFP regulations between 2013-14 to 2017-18, while the final tranche highlights alleged breaches of profit and sustainability rules between 2015-16 and 2017-18. It also includes charges relating to cooperation with the Premier League's investigation. The claim is that City failed to cooperate with elements of the probe. An independent commission will be appointed by chair of the Premier League Judicial Panel, Arsenal supporter Murray Rosen KC. It is thought that those selections will be made imminently. Proceedings will be confidential and heard in private. City will need time, first to evaluate what they are alleged to have done and then to prepare a defense. They may also examine the chosen members of the panel and flag any potential issues as they see fit. Insiders believe we could be talking years rather than months in APOS. According to the Premier League's rulebook, a wide range of punishments are available to the panel. They stretch from a slap on the wrist to expulsion. Points deductions, replayed matches and fines also feature, as does the ability to suspend any penalties. Impossible to say. There are various ways of looking at it. The first is that the Premier League would not have taken on one of its biggest clubs unless it thought it had clear evidence and a good chance of victory. The second is that they felt backed into a corner under pressure to act from City's main rivals. What cannot be disputed is that City, aided by deep pockets and with their reputation on the line, will defend themselves with everything they have.